Assalamu alaikum class. Today's lecture is about manufacturing overhead cost. So in this lecture, we will learn how to calculate total manufacturing overhead or which is also called factory overhead. So manufacturing overhead includes three main things: indirect material, indirect labor, and all other factory cost. So first of all, what is indirect material? Indirect material is the material which is used to support the production process, or you can say it is the supplementary product. It is used in the product but cannot be directly traced or linked to the production. For example, glue used in the manufacturing of furniture, or nails or screws that cannot be directly traceable to the product, so that is why this is called indirect material. Here we have the example of lubricants, supplies, cleaning materials. All these are indirect material. The other MOH cost includes indirect labor. So indirect labors are the workers who support production process but are not directly involved in actual creation of goods or services. These are the supporting staff. For example, maintenance workers, repairs workers, janitors, security guards, even the inspection staff and supervisors is also indirect labor. The next one is other overhead cost. All other overhead cost, or you can say all other cost of the factory, um, other than direct material and direct labor, is the part of other MOH cost. So this includes depreciation on plant and equipment, any property taxes, insurance, utilities, overtime premium, idle time expenses, and any repair and maintenance expense, or you can take the example of factory rent and so on. So the manufacturing overhead includes all other manufacturing costs except the direct material and the direct labor, because we present direct material, direct labor separately, and by combining direct material and direct labor, we call direct cost. So manufacturing overhead is indirect cost. All indirect cost that is involved in production. Indirect cost means that cannot be directly traced with specific products. So let's begin with some practice questions. Here it is Excel sheet, and I will cover 2-42 and 2-43, and I have included these problems from Managerial Accounting by Ronald Hilton. So in 2-42, different data is given: direct material, advertising expense, depreciation, wages, and so on. And then the first requirement is to compute prime cost. So prime cost is the combination of, or is the sum of, two main production cost, which is direct materials and direct labor. So we will add these two to get direct material prime cost. Here in this data, you can see direct material is given directly, and then direct labor wages is also given. But do remember that fringe benefit of direct labor is also the part of direct labor cost. So uh, prime cost would be direct material, which is 2.1 million. So, and we add direct labor. Direct labor includes wages of direct labor, which is 485, and fringe benefits of direct labor, which is 95,000. So the total prime cost would be 2.68 million, or you can say in dollar. Present it in the dollar amount. Here we have dollar. So this is your prime cost requirement number one. And requirement number two, is about the calculation of total manufacturing overhead. As we have discussed, all indirect cost of the factory. So do remember that all the cost other than direct material and direct labor is a part of factory overhead or manufacturing overhead. Now we can you can see the data that we have. Advertising expense is a part of selling and admin expenses or period cost. So depreciation on building, yes, it is the part of MOH, cost of finished goods inventory. So this is inventory. Indirect wages, all indirect wages or indirect labors, fringe benefits, and production supervisor salary. This is also part of manufacturing overhead. Then service department cost and an static is there. So all the service are provided to the manufacturing department. So this is the manufacturing cost. Then direct labor fringe benefit, we have already included it in prime cost, whereas indirect labor fringe benefits are here. Fringe benefits of production supervisor, because production supervisor and indirect labor are part of MOH, so their wages as well as fringe benefits also part of MOH. Overtime premium, idle time, all these should be the part of MOH. Then administrative cost, this is period cost, rental of office space, about office space for sale personnel. So it is clearly mentioned that it is for sales personnel. So we will check it here. The rental space were made necessary when sales officer were converted to storage space for raw material. So remember that storage is a part of period cost, so it will not be included in the calculation of manufacturing overhead. Then we have administrative, rental, sales, and production, product promotion cost. All these costs are period cost. So the next requirement is to calculate total manufacturing overhead, which is also known as manufacturing overhead is also known as factory overhead. So we have depreciation on factory building, which is 115,000. Then we have indirect labor wages, which is 140. Then production supervisor salary, which is $45,000. Then we have service department cost, which is exclusively for manufacturing, and the cost is 100,000. Then we have mm, indirect labor fringe benefit. Indirect labor wages and fringe benefits, all these are part of MOH. Then fringe fringe benefit of supervisor, fringe benefit of production supervisor is 9,000. Then we have overtime premiums, then cost of idle time. So overtime premium is 55,000. You can see it. And cost of idle time is $40,000. So By adding all these, we will get total manufacturing overheads. So total manufacturing overhead will be $534,000. So this is your next, this is your second requirement. And here we highlight it. This is second requirement. Third requirement is about the calculation of total conversion cost. So total conversion cost includes direct labor cost and total manufacturing overhead. So direct labor cost is here 485 are the wages and 95 are the fringe benefits of direct labor. So we add or we include these two, 485 triple zero plus 95,000 and MOH which we have just calculated or manufacturing overhead which is $534,000. So the total amount is here you can see the total MOH or total conversion cost is $1.114 million. The next requirement is the calculation of total product cost and total period cost. So product cost or manufacturing cost or factory cost are the same. So total product cost includes direct materials, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. So direct material is $2.1 million. So 210000. We add direct labor, which includes the wages of direct labor as well as the fringe benefits. So 485,000, then $95,000. And then we will add MOH, which is 534. So by adding all these three elements, we get here. It is your total product cost. Total product cost is also called total factory cost, or you can say total manufacturing cost. The next requirement is to calculate total period cost. Total period cost is also called total operating expenses. So total period cost. All the expenses or all the costs that are incurred from storing raw material, from storing finished goods to selling the finished goods. So here you can see that we have advertising expense is a part of period cost. Then we have administrative expense, rental for sales personnel, sales commission, and product promotion cost. So all these costs are part of you can say period cost, or another name of period cost is the operating expenses or non-manufacturing expenses. So first of all, we have discussed that advertising cost, and the total advertising cost is $99,000. So advertising cost is $99,000. Then we have administrative cost. So administrative cost is $150,000. Then we have rental of office space, which is about $15,000. Then a sales commission and product promotion cost. So sales commission and product promotion cost. So sales commissions are $5,000 and production promotion cost is $10,000. So when we add all of these to get total period cost, so total period cost would be um, 290 $279,000. So this is your total period cost. So the main thing is to calculate total MOH cost. So it is a bit confusing to calculate MOH cost. For this, try to remember one thing. All the cost of a factory other than direct material and direct labor is the total manufacturing overhead. So if you remember this point, then you can calculate it easily. The next is 2-43. Again, here we have sales, work in process inventory, selling and admin, which is period cost, income tax, purchase of raw material, inventory of raw material is given, direct labor, plant and utilities is a part of MOH, depreciation on plant and machinery is also again MOH, indirect labor, indirect material, and other MOH. So what is required? Three requirement is to prepare a schedule of cost of good manufactured, schedule of cost of goods sold, and income statement. So before this, I would like to calculate total manufacturing overhead. So total manufacturing overhead include here we have discussed that utilities. So utilities uh, utilities, depreciation, indirect material, indirect labor, and MOH. So we have utilities of the plant, depreciation of the plant and equipment, indirect materials, indirect labor, and other MOH cost is also given. So utilities amount is, you can see, $40,000. So here we have $40,000. Then we have uh, depreciation, which is 60,000. So here we have 60,000. Indirect material is 10,000. Indirect labor is 15,000. And the MOH, which is 80,000. So we add all these costs to get total MOH. So the total MOH is 205 or $205,000. So this is your total MOH. You can show it in workings or separately in rough work, because the main requirement is to calculate or to prepare cost of goods manufactured. So here we are going to prepare cost of goods manufactured, and this is requirement number 1. For this, Total manufacturing cost is required, and for total manufacturing cost, direct material is required. So direct material used is not given in the data. So first of all, we are going to calculate direct material use. For this, we have raw material, opening, inventory. We add purchases in it to get raw material available for use, and then we deduct raw material closing inventory to get direct materials use. You can also call it raw material use. Both are same. So in the inner column, we are going to calculate it. We have raw material opening inventory. You can see January 1st inventory is your opening inventory, which is 40,000. Then we add purchases. Here purchases are also given. You can see here this amount is for purchases, raw material opening and raw material closing. So purchases amount is 180,000. We add both of these purchases and opening inventory, and we deduct or less minus raw material closing inventory, which is $25,000. So when we deduct it, so this 195 is your raw material or direct material use, which I mentioned in the outer column. And then we add direct labor and manufacturing overheads in order to get total manufacturing cost. Total manufacturing cost is also called, we have just discussed, total manufacturing cost is your total factory cost or total product cost. So direct labor is also given here. You can say this one. So direct labor is 200,000. So we add 200,000, and we have calculated MOH cost, which is 205. So here we have 205,000. So we add all these three to get total manufacturing cost. So total manufacturing cost is $600,000. Then we add work in process, opening inventory in the total manufacturing cost to get total cost in process. Then we deduct work in process, closing inventory to get total cost of goods manufactured. So work in process, opening inventory and closing inventory is also given. You can see that here January 1st is your opening inventory and December 31st is your closing inventory. So the opening inventory is $40,000. We add it, and then we will deduct closing inventory, which is 30,000. Work in process closing inventory is 30,000. So the total cost of goods manufactured will be $610,000. So this is your total cost of goods manufactured. The next requirement, the second requirement, is to calculate or is to prepare a cost of goods sold. So cost of goods sold, for cost of goods sold, we have third type of inventory, which is called finished goods inventory. So cost of goods sold statement or schedule of cost of goods sold. So we will start from finished goods opening inventory. Then we add here this total cost of goods manufactured to get total cost available for sale. And then we will deduct finished goods closing inventory to get cost of goods sold. So finished goods inventories are also given. You can see January 1st inventory and December inventory. And cost of goods manufactured, we have just calculated it. So finished goods opening inventory is 20,000. We add cost of goods manufactured, which is 610. Okay. Then we will deduct finished goods closing, which is 50,000. So minus 50,000. So here we have cost of goods sold, which is 580,000. So this is our cost of goods sold. The next and the last requirement is to prepare income statement. So we are going to prepare income statement. We have sales, and from sales we will deduct cost of goods sold to get gross profit. So sales, you can see how much sales is given, $950,000. So sales amount is $950,000. We have calculated cost of goods sold, which is 580, in order to get gross profit, which is 370. Then we will deduct all other expenses, which is selling and admin expenses are here. We have just one expense, selling and admin expense, which is 150. So we will deduct selling and admin expenses, which is $150,000 to get profit before income tax. So this is our income before tax. Then we will deduct income tax, which is also given income tax expense. Here you can see this is income tax expense, which is 90,000. So we will deduct it minus 90,000 in order to get total profit or net profit, or you can say profit after tax or income after tax, which is $130,000. So this is the format of cost of goods manufactured statement, cost of goods sold statement, and then income statement. So here we have net income, or you can say profit after tax. So you can mention dollar sign as well as, or it is very much necessary to have currency sign. because the way of presentation is very important. So that's it from this lecture. Take care, class.